Hello!
Live from my grandmother's basement, we are the Trash People. I am Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, keeper of the Canon.
And we are a Planet Scum Live fan podcast talking about all fan-related things in the Planet Scum universe. And so I am exceptionally excited. Last week, we spoke to members of the book club, which is a K-Scum show. K-Scum, of course, being the radio station on which anyone can have a show on the Planet Scum Discord. Before that, we spoke to the hosts of Friendship, an incredible show that happens on Sundays.
Yes.
Yes.
That happens on Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And that's trivia about your buds.
About your buds. And today, we are talking about an entirely different class of K-Scum shows. That's right. The people who saw a community radio and thought, I'm going to do radio things on it, obviously. I'm going to share amazing music with my buds. Today, we have joining us TV's Nick Minnick. We've got Bastien. And we've got Fukumodo.
Hey, friends.
Hello, dear friends.
Hello.
Hello. All of these incredible individuals who have excellent music and related shows on K-Scum. Why don't we do a little round of introductions?
Yeah.
Hey, Nick. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how you found Planet Scum?
I'm TV's Nick Minnick. I've been, I joined the Discord, I think, like, within the first month of it starting. I have been here ever since. I was the first person to be added as a DJ that wasn't like a mod or anything. And yeah, that's good enough.
That's all we need to know. That's all we need to know about.
Whoopsie doodle.
Whoopsie doodle, we're back. How did you find out about the Gethard verse?
Oh, how did I find out?
Yeah.
Yes.
I found out about it back when it was still public access. I think the first episode I saw was the one with Amy Poehler. So I'd imagine probably that's how I found out about it. I'm sure she posted something. And I've been here, much like the Discord, ever since that introductory moment.
Magic. And I have a question that I did not include. I should have included it when I first asking. I have a question. I have a belief that is the absolute truth that Chris Gethard personally chose each of us to join his flock. But like a trickster god, he does not just tell us, like, you are in my flock. No, we all have inborn qualities within us that show us that we are parts of, that we have been chosen by Chris Gethard. What in you shows you and us that you have been chosen personally by Chris Gethard to be part of his flock?
You know, I would say it's my natural charisma and winning personality.
Incredible. Yes! I love it.
I love that
Love
answer.
it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it.
Thank you.
Fukumodo. Same questions. Tell us how you found Planet Scum. Tell us who you are, and tell us what qualities within you show you that you have been personally chosen by Chris Gethard. I'm sorry, I keep like leaning as far away from the mic as possible.
It's perfect though. It's amazing. So I'm Fukumodo. How did I come to find Planet Scum? I think I was looking up what Chris Gethard was getting up to. Because I had seen episodes of the public access days and I saw that he wasn't doing the cable show anymore. And I was like, oh, fuck. What's going on? What's going on in Gethard's world right now? And I think I just came across the fact that you guys had like a Discord channel. So I just joined on one day, scrolled around the channels for a bit and saw that like you treated your voice channel as a radio station, and I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. Might as well just sign up to it, see what happens.
I feel like
That's
that
basically
is
it.
a quality that shows one that they
Oh,
have
yeah.
been chosen by Chris Gethard. But do you have another quality? Do you have other qualities that you believe show you?
I think personally, I love and I hate people. All right, and I think Chris Gethard has that unique quality where he'll listen to people's stories and genuinely be fascinated in a way that I think, you know, like if he cares, like he'll continue to listen to that person and, you know, try and understand them. But if he doesn't, like he'll be straight up and say, "Shut up." Like I think he's got that kind of energy, and I do too. So
I love that.
I love that. Yeah.
Love it. Bastien, share with us, how did you find Planet Scum, especially as a turtle? You do not have thumbs or fine motor control. Curious about controlling a computer.
I'm a chat rat from back in the day.
Sweet.
Back in the public access TCGS days. And then when it comes to Planet Scum, I kind of fell off with the cable show for various life reasons and everything. And then he went back and started doing CGP, and I didn't watch it when it first started. But then last year, around this time, actually, once the whole pandemic thing broke out, I saw that they were doing marathons on Twitch of CGP, and same as when I first got into TCGS, you know, there was depression, so obviously you binge watch things. So
Yeah.
I binge watched most of those, and then caught up later on YouTube with other ones, and ended up coming to the Planet Scum Discord and just acting like furniture that's been there the whole time.
I love that, especially in a shell. I really love your picture.
It's a great picture.
It just makes me joyful every time I see it. But tell me, what in you?
Well, I should say the picture is an avatar done for me by my friend, my buddy Gaurav Gulati.
Oh, sweet. Oh,
how I came to be in the universe. I think I'm just a little weirdo with a lot of ideas and thoughts and no way to express them and no outlet for them. So I kind of have to make my own. And I think that's basically the same thing going on in Gethard's head most days.
I love that. I think that's absolutely true. I think that is one of the things in me that shows me that I have been personally chosen by Chris Gethard to join his flock. Because once again, trickster gods do not just tell you, and you do not choose trickster gods. It just happens. It's just a thing. Oh, hi, Jess. How do you feel about being featured here on We Are Trash People? What a great question.
I think that's a question for Nick.
I believe so. It's subtle. I'm not sure who she wants that question asked of, but
Well, I think it's a great honor and a great privilege, I think, for everybody to get to hear my delightful voice, to see me. Look how stripy this sweater is.
So stripy.
It's got some buttons here too.
Oh.
You know, in case I need to quickly get out of it. And I apparently, even though I logged into StreamYard, I apparently can't comment, which is a great tragedy that I can't respond to everybody.
that is a tragedy.
That's why I disappeared for a little bit, because I was trying to troubleshoot that. Didn't fix
Interesting.
anything. But in response to Jeff's question, how dare you take that emoji from me and blame it on Bryson. I haven't forgotten it. I will never forget it. Um, I yield the rest of my time to Fukumodo and Bastien.
Wait, I need the story
Wow.
of this. I don't know this story.
What do you mean?
An
The
emoji
law's
was-
coming through real
An
hard.
emoji was stolen.
The
And-
bitey, the
Bitey!
bitey emoji that he got for a
Bitey.
week.
Oh, because a couple of weeks ago was the 1 year anniversary of my show. I was like, I made privately, I made the suggest that I think all the SCUM shows should get their own emojis, and of course, I wanted Bitey because everybody that listens to my show knows Bitey is central to everything that goes on. Not just central to my show, but the whole Discord. Bitey's the mascot of the Discord, and that there isn't a Bitey permanent Bitey emoji is it's just garbage. It's hot garbage. And
Yeah.
Jess / Bryson, depending, was nice enough to give us that emoji, but only for a week. And then they cruelly came in the following week and took it from us. Which
With only a week's worth of warning.
It's a dick move.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the story.
Yeah.
We've chosen a strawberry as a new emoji specific to my show. I mean, I
Oh.
let the audience decide, and then I kind of decided I didn't want what they picked, so I just went for strawberry.
I love that. Tell us, essentially, with my next question is, tell me about each of your shows. When you started your shows, what was the impetus towards starting them, and what you love about your shows, like why you wanted to start your shows. These are all incredible music shows of the music that make you happy. Nick, why don't you share?
So like when the radio station started, I mean we were all just kind of in there all the time. And I was especially in there all the time when I was around, and I just constantly like typed out like fun facts for everything came up. It's like, wow, how do you know all this stuff? It's like, I just know all this stuff. That is I am great at trivia and music especially, and so I think Jess probably was like, hey, you guys can book shows. You book a show. I was like, I'm gonna book a show, and I did book a show, and I think one person listened to that first episode. Which like the first episode was just me presenting because I always do like year-end lists, and my first episode was my year-end list for 2019, and then until like the pandemic really hit, it was just me playing whatever I wanted from week to week, and then when that hit and more people showed up, I tried to sometimes, not always, but tried to gear it more towards like audience participation, which usually didn't go well. Because people are really bad at like doing things you ask them to. It's a real problem with this community. Together. I am definitely not the other. I am definitely not Fukumodo and Bastien when it comes to relating to my audience. And I think that's good because we all have different shows. We all have a different energy. Mine's more combative, but appreciative, and I feel people appreciate that. I have maybe not everybody, like the 5 or 6 people that regularly listen to my show. Great. I have a great international audience. I don't know if the other shows can claim that. That's what I'm. That's the claim I'm making. That's a real proud thing for me, and I'm sure it instills a lot of pride in the audience that they get to be my audience.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Did I answer all or any of the questions that were asked?
You absolutely did.
Absolutely.
I am gonna come back around with some more specific, like, tell me music to music person who I am not. I am not music person. I still the coolest bands I know are the ones that my high school boyfriend told me to listen to in high school. Look, it was Queens of the Stone Age. They're really good. I really enjoy them. You're all like, oh no. I'm like, okay. Hey Fukumoto, tell us about starting your show. I hear that you also have a big international audience.
A big international audience. I wish I had Nick's energy. That's what I'll tell you. No, it's interesting because I mean, like, I think I was just making a playlist of my own one day and thought, yeah, why not? We've got like 50 something minutes of solid music here that I would listen to on the regular. Why not just play it out and see if anybody comes and chills along? You know, that's what it was all about. And I had owned all of the songs at this point anyway, on different vinyl records. So like going out and DJing at like small venues wasn't a new concept either. So I mean, I was just, you know, wanting to share music, I guess. But if since then, this show's really grown into something that isn't just music, but like, you know, all the little segments in between, having Jess on, the news and the weather, and now it seems like family members want to come along onto an unknown internet radio show. It's fantastic. No, I don't know. I just have fun. I have fun with the whole format and love it when I can bring on other people as well. So, I don't know. I just do it for fun.
Beautiful. I adore that. Hey, Bastien, tell us about starting your show. Also, let's say the names of all of these
Yeah,
shows.
we haven't actually done that yet, have we?
Another Songs with Nick.
Whoa. Actually, Another Songs has a sponsor now.
Oh.
It is a sponsored show. It's Another Songs presented by Sour Soda. The one with Bite E. I think it's a typo because it's a Canadian product. I think it's supposed to be Bite, A, but the H wasn't there, so I just write the copy as it's shown to me.
I love that. Another Songs presented by Sarasota. We've got Fukumoto's Crate, and we've got the Platter Sampler with Bastien. Bastien, tell us about starting your show. What was the impetus?
I'm kind of a particular guy. I love music, but I love the music. I listen to the music that I like to listen to. I'm not really into much mainstream stuff, and I don't mean that in a like, oh, the stuff I listen to you've probably never heard of. It's just it's more of a, oh, the stuff I listen to people probably never heard of. So like here's some stuff that I like that you might not like, or that you might not have heard of, and maybe you'll like that. And it's stuff that doesn't necessarily come up in the regular SCUM cycle. So I try to bring some stuff that might not be on there, like folk music sometimes, or like just like indie stuff, but not like, you know, like super deep indie stuff. So yeah, it's more than the other shows. It's more of like a listening party for my show, where I only come in the beginning and at the end, if I don't forget to unmute my mic at the end. I gave a really off the dome, impassioned speech one time at the very end. And then my theme music just kept playing. And I was like, gee, I wonder why that is. And it wasn't until like 30, 40 minutes after my show was already done, I was like, oh, I was muted that whole time. But yeah, I pick some stuff that I'm personally really into, stuff that means something to me personally. And it's sort of that thing, like when you share like a video of a cute animal on the internet, you're not doing it to be like, I like this cute animal, therefore I am cool for liking this cute animal. It's I like this cute animal. I hope I can make somebody else like this cute animal and feel good for a moment liking this cute animal. It's like, I like this music, so I hope someone else will have some good feelings from listening to this music that I'm forcing them to hear.
I'm detecting a
I
hint
love
of
that.
shade, though. I'm
No,
detecting
it's-
a hint of shade.
It's inward facing shade.
It's like elitism.
I mean, it's not like there isn't the cultural stereotype of like the dude with his indie music who thinks that makes him cooler than other people.
Right. My thing is I'm the weirdo. I'm the one that should be scorned. Not really. But yeah, it's not so much
Is this something you've been fighting against? Like when did you discover yourself as a music person, and for how long did you feel like you were coming up against the identity of music guy? I mean, like in the 2000s, that was the freaking thing. Was like, oh, it's that movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and
500 Days of Summer?
Yes. Like, the stereotype of that dude was everywhere. The OC.
Right.
Everywhere. I'm curious if this is true for all of you, that you felt as you came into, like, your music personness, if you felt like you were coming up against that identity, and if you consider yourself a music person, a person who enjoy, like, can define themselves as that. Let's start with Bastien, because I was just badgering you about this.
I wouldn't say I'm a capital M, capital P music person. Music means a lot to me, the music that I listen to. I mean, the weird thing is I was a bit of a late bloomer in a lot of aspects, and one of those was music. I really didn't get into music until like into high school. So like weirdly, the first time I started creating my own taste was like, playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Hearing like punk and ska and some hip hop and stuff, and then Grind Session, which, by the way, hand at the side of my mouth is better than Tony Hawk.
Wow, now that's some real shade.
Oh,
Wow.
I'll throw shade.
call.
Grind Session is the superior skating game with the superior soundtrack.
Nope.
Wow.
Couldn't play as Darth Maul in that.
Wow.
I mean, come on, it's
Wait,
got.
I would say Thrasher Skate and Destroy is the superior skating game with the superior soundtrack, because it has like 80s and 90s old school hip hop. I think
Grind Session's
that's
got
better. That's
KRS-One. It's got Jurassic 5. It's got some good stuff on there.
Damn. Do I look like have I given the
That's
impression
got-
that I know who these
that's got
bands are? I'm like,
Yes.
yeah. Oh my
Considered
God,
thought right there. Yeah.
For sure.
This isn't me being a music guy. This is me being a very specific era of skateboarding games guy.
I think that's incredible. I sort of perfected my, like, we're all weirdos. We all know what it's like to walk through the world as weird people and have people talk to us about things that they assume everyone must know about because it's what normal people know about, and we just don't have the energy to be like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about, so you're just like, oh yeah, totally, oh my God. Wow. But I'm curious, Fukumoto, share with us, when do you feel like you started creating your music taste? And what identities do you feel like you may have come up against and or interacted with in that process, if any at all?
So this is really interesting because I think growing up and being in New Zealand as well, like you grow up in these two different contexts where I'm a Polynesian and, Pākehā European person. So, I mean, on the Pacifica side, you've got all the different traditional and Casio keyboard music that you would hear being played at markets in the weekend. This is true, by the way. So I mean, you kind of grew up around that, but for me, I think my music tastes really started to develop when I was playing like Grand Theft Auto at a very young age. Don't tell my parents. But I mean, a big thing was like actually just scrolling through all of those stations, hearing all of these bad ads, but you really got like a good sample of music from all the different decades that GTA portrayed itself to be based in, right? So that gave me like a really good kind of foundational, platform of sorts to then go and explore all of these different other acts and bands from, the 70s up to today, really.
Wow. So I can blame my mother for my lack of music taste once again.
Well, because they were
not
also
allowing me to play video games.
There you
they
go.
were also very formative for me. Like, and Bastien calls out the Vice City soundtrack, and that was how I was first introduced to most 80s music that I heard.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like enjoying or finding that sort of musical background, exploring your own musical taste? Were you a music guy? Did people ever, they're like, oh yeah, like Fukumodo's the music guy in our school? Like,
absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not. See, I mean, like, I never really portrayed myself as that kind of person. Although, if you were growing up in the same household as myself, you would know. You would know that I was listening to music that was completely outside of the tastes that my siblings were used to. You know, they're very big on R&B. Definitely like 90s boppers, and here I am just listening to like all sorts of different decades and genres. Like they couldn't wrap their heads around it. But I don't know if I would call myself a music person, like put that label on me. I just like sounds, like good sounds. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. That's how I describe a lot of things. Because there are just some sounds that are nice, even if you don't have that ASMR stuff. There's just some nice sounds, you know? We listen to a lot of, like, noise music on the Berkeley College radio station, which is kind of like my entire music intake nowadays. And a lot of it's just sounds. And it's wonderful. Nick, are you a music person? Were you a music person? And have you had to fight, like Bastien, an internal sense of, like, I don't want to be Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 500 Days of Summer. I, like he, know that he is not the hero of this story.
He is not the hero of that story. I think Autumn, like the woman that shows up at the end, that also has the Cecil name, is the real hero of that story. I am very much a music person. I am regarded as a music person. All of my friends think of me as usually the music person. Growing up as a music person, but I grew up in a economically depressed steel town and in super white trash. So I listened to a lot of like new metal and ska and pop punk. Because I mean, I'm a little older. I came of age in the '90s. And I just listen to a lot of stuff that, everybody's got their taste, and I don't, that's fine and everything, but stuff that I consider, at the time I liked a lot, but now I consider to be bad music, or just music that doesn't really appeal to me anymore. And like, it's like most people, I think, you find the stuff you like in like high school when you're a teenager or whatever, and you stick with that, or maybe you get to college and like once you're around 23 or 24 or whatever, like that's it. That's where you're at musically. And like there's just so much stuff out there, and just like every point where it's like, okay, I'm at like maybe this plateau or whatever of like what my taste is musically is like, well, what else is there? What else is there? Because like initially like a lot of stuff I listened to was just music made by straight white cis men, and like I've been a straight white cis dude all my life. Like I get it, like nobody else is bringing anything new to that. I'm like, oh wow, I never really thought of that before. I mean, like every now, like there's this musician Mount Erie. He put out a couple years ago about his wife dying. So like that's like the rare example. I mean, that isn't all. That's like the rare example of like somebody actually kind of saying something unique as a straight white cis man. But like I just kind of like got over that, and it's like, well, what else is there? What else is there? So I'm just constantly looking, it's like, what else is there? Because there's like, I mean, there's so much music in the world that like we're never gonna hear. Like my favorite band could be some band from like Cambodia in like the '80s, and I'm never gonna hear that, and that's frustrating. But it's also so thrilling and exciting. It's like there's always music to discover. Like anytime someone's like, I don't like, there's no music or there's no good music or anything. It's just like that's such a defeatist attitude to have. There's always going to be music that's always out there, and like this age that we live in now, like it's never been easier to just go out and find something. You can just go on YouTube, pick one song you like, and YouTube will create an algorithm, and like it'll maybe give you more of the same, but then it'll start spinning in other stuff that's like completely different, and you can just go from there. And it's just so easy to do this, and it genuinely frustrates me when people are just like, I like this one or two things, and I mean, if you like it, it's fine, but kind of like when you have the mentality like, I don't see the point of like looking for other stuff. It's just like you're depriving yourself, and that's upsetting. That's genuinely upsetting.
Oh,
Thank you. I yield the rest of my time to Fukumodo and Bastien.
I thank you. I'm sorry. As I was reading Stephen Premmel's note, I saw instead of Jack Sparrow, South African rapper, I read Jack Sparrow, and then South African rapper, and I was like, back up. Did I watch those movies wrong? Like there wasn't much to them.
We also got a question from the chat, actually, from Jess, which is, what would each of you do if you guest hosted each other's shows?
Yes. But first I want to know, because we gotta set up the context.
Go for it.
I need to know what kind of things you share on your shows. Are you looking at something that's eclectic? We know that from Bastien, it's songs that has made you really happy, things that are often in the indie sort of genre. Fukumodo, the ones I've been able to catch of yours, it's been all sorts of stuff, which, you know, I listen to Calyx Radio. That's all it is. Are you going to be listening to Gregorian chants, random noises, something in a language that I don't know, or 12 covers of the same country song? I fucking love Calyx. I did not even think that like I could be a person interested in music until like I listened to this radio station. Oh, and then okay, so backup story time. They were doing these Chris Gethard show for True TV, like fan events in all over the place. Oh yeah. But the person who was running the ones in San Francisco,
which is where we got that Gethard show sign back there, because we were the people who went every week it happened.
The only people who went every week it happened, and the only people there for most of them in a sports bar. Why set it in
during the MLB playoffs?
Right. But the person who ran it, we discovered, like, you know, we knew their name and stuff, and we chatted. They're a Calyx DJ, one who I had listened to a lot. So I was like, whoa, like music and Chris Gethard show is so intertwined. I need to know from all of you. Do you have a categorization for the type of music you would show on your shows? If there's a feeling behind it, if there's like an actual genre, if there's a like, these are all of the things that I found in this box over here. Tell me these things. Tell me these things. Bastien, share with me these things.
I think I would probably do generally about the same kind of show as I normally do. Usually I focus on one artist at a time. with each episode. I think I would probably do more of a potpourri, hodgepodge sort of thing. Throw in artists that I maybe wouldn't necessarily have a whole show dedicated to, but like one or two songs that I really enjoy the sound of, and toss those in like a salad. I come from the Rob Gordon school of playlist creation, where I try to make every song play properly into the next song. And you start out with like a banger, and then you slow it down a little bit, and then you pick up the pace and really try to equalize the whole thing. And I think I would do about the same thing, but with like a greater collection of varied artists.
I love that. That's one of the reasons I love Calyx so much. I did not know that music on the radio could be good or interesting until them. Fukumodo, tell me the answers to my questions.
I think on my end, there are a couple of principles that I follow. One is like I want to try and discover new music by either going to my local record shop and just going into the bargain bins, because you can find some real gems, I feel, when you just sift through all of these different old kind of records. And then I try and mix that with, I don't know, just new music that I'll play on Spotify, and if they sound good and if I bop to it, I'll usually just like it and then schedule it for an upcoming show. But I think my way of doing playlists is a little different. Like I've always followed the linear structure where, you start off really slow and then you end up in a high place. And then you just kind of end it there, because why not? But I don't know. I always try and make sure that at least one or two songs are from New Zealand, just because I like to just get you guys to listen to music that isn't from your own country. So yeah, that's my way of doing things.
I love that.
I love that. Yeah.
TV's Nick Minnick, answer my questions.
Yes. There are a couple questions in there. Okay, I think so. My show doesn't really have a set thing. I do different things all the time. I know there's a point where we're doing like brackets for different periods of music and kind of like tournings beside that. I was doing weekly charts for like 2020 albums and songs, for audience participation. Sometimes I'll just do a show where I just DJ myself and play whatever. But even when I do that, I usually kind of let the audience interact. It's like, okay, pick the letter the artist starts with, and then I scramble. Because like I do my show like with like the exception, even with the chart show, like my show's done entirely on the fly. I don't make playlists out in advance, which is a really dumb idea. As those of us who have to, like the DJs know, Klon is not the most reliable thing. Like I the thing that my audience knows, I pride myself on the amount of dead air that I have on my show, for various reasons. But like the only kind of guiding principle I have on my show is I never play anything that's morally objectionable. So I never play any problematic artists, because I don't believe in highlighting or spotlighting terrible people. But as far as, because you did ask about doing the other shows, with Fukumodo, I mean, I don't have a lot of records at this point. I have like 3 or 4 crates. I do have New Zealand stuff in there. I have Flying Nun stuff in there.
Very good.
So
good
big
man.
shout out to Flying Nun. I have some Queen, I have the Chills, the Bats. For a Bastien show, if I did that, I have often talked about 311. That's a big fan of my youth, so I might spotlight them. I don't really like them anymore, but I'd still maybe do that. Or I would pick like an artist that's like a more kind of musically diverse, like maybe someone like Yola Tango, who doesn't really, I mean, they're like an indie rock band. I don't necessarily stick to one particular sound and kind of all over the place. So that's how I would approach both those shows.
I love that.
Yeah.
Bastien, what would you do if you took over Nick's and Fukumoto's shows?
I think if I took over Nick's show, I would really up the dead air game. Because like I said, I don't stay on mic the whole time, just in like my intro and my outro. And then I have taken to sitting in the lounge and every couple of songs posting like a bit of info here and there, or like here's the album cover, or here's like a photo of the band, that sort of thing. Because again, it's stuff that isn't mainstream, so you might not even know what the person looks like. So I try to show a little bit of that. Or last week I did Gregory Alan Isakov, and he's a farmer, so I was just like, here's pictures of his farm and his sheep.
Oh, sweet!
I love that.
I love sheep.
But yeah, with the crate, I have a very limited and specific crate of my own. I think I've only got about like 15 records total, 5 of which I bought in the past year, which it's wild. But then I also have like a couple 45s that I got from the thrift store, like I've got the Ghostbusters theme by Ray Parker Jr. and I've got Sailing by Christopher Cross and Keep Forgetting by Michael McDonald, and then also Careless Whisper. So there's like folk isn't my main. It's what I like listen to on the daily, but then I also have like an appreciation of like so many other things. Like I said, like yacht rock stuff, and then like, you know, Vice City, so much great 80s music of various genres. And then there's like, you know, poppier indie stuff that I've also listened to, and like, so I would bring in some of the stuff I wouldn't probably normally focus on my main show. Yeah.
I love that. Gorgeous. Fukumoto, what would you do were you hosting these other 2 shows?
I think with Bastien's show first, I think I'd really want to just indulge myself once again and play all of the songs that I thought were really great from Prefab Sprout. Like, look, I love that band so much. And I love the songwriting ability of Paddy MacLeod, and the fact that he hasn't made music in a long while just breaks my heart a little bit. So I would just subject everyone to that for about an hour. And then with Nick's show, I would just intentionally crash Klon, who, need I remind you, I fired from my show quite early on. And I would play the night of Spanish Flea for 8 hours. And if we can load this picture up, I'd post this in the SCUM lounge with the caption "out to lunch." That's what I would do. That is me reviewing a couple of toilets a few years ago.
Magnificent. Oh my gosh.
Who wrote that? Who wrote that?
Unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever know who the enigmatic BW is.
Oh, who?
We will never, ever know.
I think it would be Big Willie Styles, aka Will Smith.
Oh, well.
So you got a celebrity in your audience here.
I'm honored that the architect of the Millennium is watching this show right now.
Welcome.
Welcome, Fresh Prince.
Welcome.
Lol.
I want to know. I have one more question for you all. I have two more questions for you all. One, I want to hear about. Oh, you already told me about your music discovery methods. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about your music discovery methods. We got going to like physical places. We've got like going through YouTube lists. We've got Bastien. I have no idea how you find music. How do you find music? Do you sleep and then fairies will come to you and tell you the names of cool bands? This I wish. I would never remember the names though, and then I would feel so bad.
Well, the problem with that is that first you have to sleep. So that doesn't happen all that often. Like in general, the way I got into music, I can narrow down to 3 specific phases. So like the first phase was the Tony Hawk phase, where I started hearing that stuff. I was like, oh, liking music is a thing that you can do. Mm-hmm. The second phase, this is gonna sound bad, especially with that 500 Days of Summer thing. But I really love the soundtrack to Garden State.
Oh yeah.
So like listening to the Shins in a small way changed my life. And then the third phase was going from that and taking some of the stuff I liked from that, like Iron and Wine was on the soundtrack, plugging that into Pandora when Pandora first came out, and I started getting some new stuff from there that I liked, and then it started shifting. And I really whipped it into shape to where it's like pinpointed to stuff that I would like specifically. And then from there, like I started another station with suggestions from that. And then from there, I started another station with suggestions from that. And so it grew from there. And then once you get some of that stuff, and like the folk genre in particular, it's not huge, but it's also not small. So like stuff just kind of it's like it ends up being like a snowball going downhill, and you just bump into other things that you really enjoy.
I love that. I also love what's going on in the chat. Yeah, all of the discovering music from movies is glorious.
I will say I did listen to the 500 Days of Summer soundtrack.
Yo, it's a stereotype for a reason. Like, people do these things and they find things that they love through them. Yeah. I don't know. All the music I got was just whatever I could find in my parents' house. So it was either R&B or classic rock. So I was classic rock. No shade to R&B, just not my particular jam. I have a question for all of you. What advice would you give an aspiring SCUM show creator producer? Nick, do you have any advice? I just cut Fukumodo off. Fukumodo, you're going next.
Just
oh,
do
no,
it.
I just...
just do it. That's it. That's it. From my end, just do it. I mean...
Do the thing.
Have fun. Yeah, do the thing.
Nick?
I would say listen to your heart and what your heart tells you to do, and never listen to the audience that is just going to make that grief about the thing that you want to do. They're just good.
Thought he was going face there for a second, but he turned it back around.
I would never, ever get this. I wanted to comment on something, because when you asked that last question to Bastien, you said if he got like ideas through dreams or whatever.
Yes.
And I would just like to highly recommend to anybody that can do it, you should have music playing the whole time you're sleeping, because I do that. I just do that all night, and the songs constantly enter my dreams. And then sometimes the musicians will also be in my dreams, and it's amazing. And you realize how long dreams are much longer than like real time, because like it'll be perfectly synced up with a song, and like that dream will last for like half an hour while like a 3-minute song playing. So highly recommend that. Do that.
Yes. I do want to caution people. I've often fall asleep listening to podcasts and books, and movies, and a podcast to maybe not fall asleep to, though maybe to fall asleep to, is that one. The story must be told. Oh. It's a bunch of like whacked out sci-fi stories. So I like pass the fuck out listening to this, and I'm like dreaming of like these giant ants with like shining thoraxes, and they're like, and all this like wild ass shit's happening, and I wake up, I'm like, what the fuck? And I like look over at my phone. Of course, it's still playing now. Another whacked out story.
My brain shorted out when you said, when I listen to podcasts, you know, that one. And my brain's just like, McElroy? No, what?
What does Emily listen to? So that is something I recommend. I love that. I love listening to music while we're doing it. Speaking of advice for K-SCUM show makers, potential new ones, I think we have a little exclusive for all of you in the chat. And all of you here, we have a exclusive. Wow. A exclusive? It's a exclusive.
About a new show.
A brand new
coming
show.
To K-SCUM Radio.
K-SCUM Radio.
From DP Snacks.
From DP Snacks!
The K-SCUM Vice Mix. It's coming to K-SCUM Radio the second Friday of every month at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, starting on February 12th.
Yeah!
Hell yeah.
Yes, so that sounds fucking awesome. I love adding just more people. Yes. Super hyped for that. Dear friends, we've come to our final segment of the show.
But also, I'm just going to say one thing before you get on to that, the final segment. If you missed when that show is, or want to see when any K-SCUM radio show is, just go to planetscum.live/radio to see it all right there.
It's all right there.
And that's also where you can sign up for your own show if you want to do one for yourself.
It is. Dear friends, our final segment of the night is I'm going to pull a card for each of you from, that's right, the Archaos, the glorious tarot deck designed by our very own. I broke the space-time continuum?
Because, you started the final segment and then something else happened, which must have happened before the final segment started. Because it's the final segment.
Yes! The Archaos, designed by our very own magnificent Stephen Premmel. I am going to pull a card for each of you, and this is going to mean something for each of you, and I'm very, very excited. And then you are going to plug your shows, and then we're all going to head over to the pre-show. Oh, but Nick, this I love that I pulled for you. Right here.
Oh, the Weird Bowl.
We got a Weird Bowl. Check that out. The Weird Bowl. I love this card because it's our Weird Bowl, which is, of course, a mix of 3 snacks that you just like that don't seem like they go together, but it fits to your unique taste. And it's a gift. Your unique taste is a gift from the clouds. And it's what you need to energize your journey. You cannot have a huge-ass hike to, like, a weird-ass castle without bringing a snack with you. That's a poor choice. Who hikes without snacks? Better take a Weird Bowl. Nick, is there anything in this card that speaks to you? that I have not touched on, or a different interpretation that you see of it?
Well, I mean, you said about taking snacks on a hike to a castle, and I always take with me a tub of vanilla ice cream wherever I go on any journey, and other things get in there sometimes, so it does indeed become a weird bowl of vanilla ice cream and whatever else, and it really helps me get to the top of that mountain, enter that castle, do what I have to do in that castle. Make sure to use the bathroom because, it's a long way back and you could always use someone else's bathroom when you were in their home.
Mm-hmm.
Precisely.
Real power move.
Precisely.
It's a pro tip.
It is a pro tip. I love it. All right. Bastien. This is your card. The game.
The game.
That's right. It's the game. We have Martin Urbano with his cavalcade of producers around him and this glorious spinning wheel of fortune, of fate. We're all just playing a game. We're all having a fun time with our buds. And sometimes leaving things up to chance is the fun of the game. Tell me, is there anything you see in this card that speaks to you?
Well, I think Martin is another one of those weird guys with ideas that he just wants to get out. Sometimes against his better judgment, I would say. I'm a very anxious person. So to me, any social interaction is a kind of game where the goal is not upsetting the other person. And by not upsetting the other person, that's how you win. So I'm the kind of person everything I try to say or do, I run down the strategy of in my head, if I word it this way, if I word it that way, it's got different meanings. So
wow.
So yeah, everything is a game to me, and I should probably seek help.
I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Wow, I have never had the attention span to. I usually go into social interactions trying not to make anyone upset, and then I don't have the attention span to make sure that that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
There's a reason I didn't have that many friends in high school. Fukumodo. But what's your card?
Oh, what is it?
Oh, it's a great card.
What a card.
The Keeper.
It's
The keeper. The keeper keeping that Canon. Look at him. He's juggling these two planets with the sun behind him. He's so excited to show you what he's got. He's holding on to them for you, and he's ready to share. I think that this card is one of the most spot on because you have this magnificent canon of music that you're just really excited to show off to people. You have all this cool stuff from who knows where that brings you joy. Tell me, is there anything in this card that you see that I have not?
I think you really just you hit the nail on the head, as they would say. I just got a lot of things to show off. That's it, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. That's practically it in a nutshell. Juggling those crates.
Juggling those crates. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you all for watching. If I could just we'll go around quick, say the name of your show and when it is. Nick.
Another song presented by Sour Soda, the one with the bite. It's on at some point, probably Tuesdays, or if you live on another part of the world, it might be Wednesday. You can say for sure.
Sweet. Bastien, share with us.
My show is Platter Sampler, usually Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, though I had a special primetime longer episode before because my slot was taken up by somebody else, which is cool. That's just how it worked out.
Fukumodo, where can we
Fukumoto's
see you
great.
and your nan?
She is going to come back and teach us all how to make jam at some point. I'm doing it.
Oh,
Fukumoto's Crate, 5 p.m. on the East.
Love it. Love it. Oh, what day?
Friday.
Oh, on a Friday. On a
Oh,
Friday.
okay. Of
Friday.
course.
End of
Of
the week.
course.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Of course. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Thank you all for watching. Check out these incredible shows on KSCUM. Just do the thing. Head over to the Discord right now for the pre-show. And get fucking hype for Judge Millie.
Yeah, Judge Millie tonight.